So this guy writes this post, few tips I have learned for first dates and how to flirt 2.0. So let's go through this. He's got a bunch of like a numbered list. So let's see if I agree with some of the stuff he's talking about. Never, he says his quote, never expect to get to know someone until you know yourself. Yeah, okay. This is a very important point. A lot of people try meeting and dating people, but they're not sure what they're looking for. Agree with that 100%. Define what your criteria is, refine it with each date, or what things are good or not. Yeah, many people just don't put any work at all into studying what works, what doesn't. This is basically a pattern. Leo Tolstoy talks about this in Anne Karenina, First Line. All happy families resemble themselves in some way, whereas all unhappy families are unique in their own way. So here I bring some things to you. Should totally know when looking for a person. So ask yourself these questions before even dating someone. Number one, hobbies. Are you a gamer or into movies? That is important. Being with a person who does not understand your passions is a deal breaker. So just, yeah, okay, so look for similarities, similar interests. I agree with that, especially for like a long-term relationship. You'll hear like opposites attract, but that's not, in my opinion, in regards to, opposite interests or opposite values. That's not what you want. You want opposite polarities, so masculine and feminine. That's really what attracts. Time, number two. If you want to start dating someone, you need to invest time in them. Okay, yeah, I'd agree with that, just not too much. So time and space. So it's like you want that closeness where the two of you are together, but then you also want that distance and space where the two of you can wonder and build up that anticipation. It's just kind of like a recharge. It's like boom, boom, boom. And that's really important to attraction. But that being said, if you do spend time with them, you want to be 100% present with them in that moment. So just feel what they feel, experience what they experience, give them your full attention. That's so important. Again, that really closeness, and that's really the active listening part. Next one. 3, be yourself. This is something very important if you go on a date with someone and you are afraid of talking about this or making certain jokes. I agree with that so far. I mean, all these points so far. So in regards to that, though, talking or not being afraid to like make jokes, that is important. Also not being attached to the result, attached to them liking you or not. And so when you're not really attached to them liking you or not, say, you can basically walk away and mean it kind of mindset. Then you can basically come up with these things or just kind of lower that guard of, if I say this joke, is she going to judge me kind of deal. So I agree with that totally. What do you want with that person? Is it highly important to, this is number 4, to define what you were looking for in a relationship? Yeah. Refine your criteria. Number 5, change. When you date someone, change is a certain thing to happen. So be willing to change and define what things you can do and what things not. So I think he's being like flexible. Yeah, so it's like sometimes I'll say things like the masculine person should really take the lead, but sometimes you have to be flexible in regards to, if the other person is genuinely better at this thing, or it's like this is their expertise, it's like you'd be dumb to not let them take the lead. Because it's like ultimately you want to have success. When the two of you can succeed in a relationship together at something, that's hugely important. Just builds that connection between you two. Number 6, what not to change. Yeah, so establish your values. Number 7, sex, I think is a very important topic. Ask yourself, how important is sex in your life and how often you need it? So, I mean, what this guy's doing is this is actually a really good post. One of the best I've seen as far as like giving advice on Reddit, as far as the accuracy. But he's just basically just refining. It's like define this, know exactly what you want, be specific, don't be general. Number 8, age. Is it something quite relative? A lot of people are like, I don't care about age, but others are very strict on the range of age they are looking for. Yeah, I found that usually it's like women typically choose guys that are older, but not always. Society definitely pushes that on people. But ultimately, if you feel good with the other person, it's like choose them no matter age. Number 9, culture. We got people from all over the world, so it is important to understand cultures, although don't generalize them. It is true that usually exist a certain identity. Yeah, okay. So in other words, just basically refining, hey, what culture do you want, but also be open-minded to that. And what you'll find is ultimately, well, one, attraction applies to all people. So if you understand basically the attraction skills, what actions you need to take to build the other person's attraction, that's just human nature. And so that's going to apply to everyone, no matter the culture.